free speech movement on campus. So kind of talking generationally in general, this is something that I'm quite curious about, and a lot of people ask me. I consider you to be one of the most successful business people in American history, and your successful presidential run is something that all people, young people included, should look up to. What advice would you give to the 25-year-old Donald Trump, knowing what you know today?
Don't run for president.
But we're glad you did.
You know, I was talking to Mercedes and Sarah walking off, or just to, the Oval Office is right across the street. And I said, all my life I've gotten really, look, we all get every once in a while a knock, but I got the greatest publicity. I was getting such great until I ran for office. And but it's been, people get it. People really do get it. There is a lot of fake news out there. Nobody had any idea. And, I'm actually proud of the fact that I exposed it to a large extent, because we exposed it. It's an achievement. And you have some great news. And, when I say fake, I don't mean everybody, not every one of those many people back there. I just say we have shown something that a lot of people didn't really understand. If you look at approval rating, their approval rating is, sorry, folks, it's down the tubes. Because people have found out how dishonest it is. However, you have some great reporters. You have some great people in the press, people that I have tremendous respect for. And it is that way also, and that's very important. And it's also reassuring to know that, that's the fact.
Absolutely, and your capacity to be able to fight back against the press. And look, they say, they talk about your approval ratings. These are the same people that said you were going to lose in a landslide victory. And now we're supposed to believe these, these approval rating polls.
Well, I think, a lot of the polls are not real, too, because there were a couple of them got us right, but a lot of them didn't, and a lot of them purposely didn't, because, they set an expectation when they give you a certain poll. People say, oh, gee, I think I'm not going to vote. I love Trump, but he's not going to be able to make it. So they'll go to a movie and they'll say, we'll go home and we'll watch later. And they go home and they watch and they say, gee, if only we voted. But they really voted. In 2016, they came out and they voted. There was nobody that stayed home. And as you know, the results were far greater than the polls. Now, a lot of people just don't want to talk about it. They say, we love Trump, but we don't have to talk about it. What do we love? We love a strong military. We like low taxes. We like all of the things that are happening now, jobs, tremendous cutting in regulation, all of the things that you see happening right now. They like that. They don't have to talk about it. They went into the booth. And, look, this was the big story. People came out that nobody knew existed. And the Democrats are looking for those people right now. I got a tremendous number of people from the Obama administration where they voted for Obama, President Obama. They voted for him and they voted for me. They voted for Bernie Sanders, a lot of people. And I think because he was right about trade. The difference is I know how to fix the problem, not just talk about it. But he was right, and that's what we're doing. That's why we had the 301 meeting today on China. But Bernie Sanders was very strong on saying that we're getting ripped off on trade. He happened to be right. And I got a lot of Sanders voters. Who would think that? You would think I would have gotten virtually none. But many of them came. That was a big part of the difference between Hillary Clinton and myself. So we have a tremendous amount of support. And it's sort of an interesting thing that sometimes they say you add 9. Whatever Trump's poll number is, add 9. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to be bothered. But when they get into the voting booth, they say, vote Trump. We gave a speech the other night in Pennsylvania for a very nice guy, Rick Saccone. And it was the level of love in that room was incredible. We were in Pensacola, Florida, a couple of weeks ago. The place is just rocking. Now, I don't know if it's transferable. They say a lot of it's not transferable. They may like me. They may vote for me. They're all saying I'm going to do great in 2020. I mean, let's see what happens, right? But they don't know if it's transferable. I hope it's transferable because we have to do our agenda. We have to win in 18. We have to get the agenda. We need more Republicans. We could also, by the way, get rid of the filibuster situation going on in the Senate. I feel very strongly about that. It would make life a lot easier. But you look at some of the votes, we would get so many more votes. If you could work that with youth, get rid of it because certain senators just want to keep it, but it makes things a little bit tougher. But I will say we need more Republicans, and we're going to get you taxes. I don't know if you know, but I was with Kevin Brady the other day. We're starting a phase 2 on tax cuts. We're going to get more tax cuts, and we're going to be very focused, again, on the middle class. We're going to get a phase 2 tax cut because it worked so well. Nobody thought it would be like this. It worked so. The word crumbs is going to be like the word deplorable, I think, for Hillary.
Totally agree. And,
you know, hey, Charlie, when she said the word, I was watching that speech, and I thought it was, you know, not very nice, but I didn't see it that bad. And the next day I'm at a speech, and women are coming in, I'm a deplorable, the husband, I'm a deplorable. And I say, what's going on? That word really, and it was a basic, that's right. She actually said deplorable and irredeemable. Irredeemable's probably worse.
she was reading off a teleprompter.
Well, the one she did last week wasn't too good either, that the woman goes and asks the husband, the son, and the male boss for approval to vote for Trump. That was not too good. That was not too good.
She found a way to insult both men and women. She said women can't make decisions on their own, and men are so controlling over women they don't allow to make decisions on their own. Only Hillary could figure out a way to possibly do that. No. Kind of in closing here, I know the next panel we're going to be talking about the crisis on college campuses, but specifically talking about the opioid epidemic, which is something that has just totally devastated middle America. And I know your administration is making historic strides to help fix the issue. So can we talk a little about opioids and what you're doing?
Yeah, Charlie, so we're going to be putting $6 billion over a fairly short period of time into the opioid crisis. It's a crisis. And you have to include in that the drug crisis period. Drugs are coming across the southern border and coming all over. That's why we will have the wall. We have $1.6 billion toward the wall and fixing up bad walls that are already up and, you know, building them new and rebuilding them, and a lot of work being done. You know, certain communities, believe it or not, like in San Diego, they want a wall. Nobody likes to talk about that. In fact, I said, don't build the wall there. They're all wanting it. And Jerry Brown, who's doing a terrible job as governor, but, you know, no, if you like high taxes and lots of and crime, that's your guy. But they go and they talk so much about the wall. But in San Diego, as you know, there's a long stretch that is demanding the wall. So I said, okay, we're ready to start. I said, don't build it. We'll wait till we get everything approved because they're having a lot of pressure. They want the wall. Look, we have to stop the drugs from coming in. So opioids are a big problem. We're going to be we're developing potential litigation to be suing some of these companies. If we could only do a painkiller that's not so addictive. This stuff is brutal. You have a broken arm, you go to the hospital, you're there for a few days, you come out, your arm is fixed, and now you're a drug addict. And we got to do something about it. It's so incredibly addictive and so quickly. And we are working here with research money. We're working and very strongly on coming up with painkillers that aren't so addictive and maybe not addictive at all. And I think that'll be a big thing. The other thing we have to do in terms of the drug problem is we have to be very tough on sentences. And, you know, a drug dealer will kill sometimes more than 2,000 people, sometimes much more than that, ruin families, ruin lives, and they get caught. They'll get 30 days in jail. They'll get a fine. And they won't even get jail. They'll get a year in jail. And yet if they kill somebody, if they shoot somebody, if they get into a fight and somebody dies, they put them in jail for life or they give them the death penalty. But these people kill thousands of people over the course of their lives through drugs. So we're going to have to get much, much tougher in terms of penalty. And if you want to stop it, you look at certain countries where they have, as an example, the death penalty, and say, how's your drug problem? And they will tell you, we don't have much of a drug problem. So I sort of, there's nothing to laugh about, nothing to smile about, but when we have these blue ribbon committees composed of some very nice people, many of whom are in the office, Alex and Alex, we have a double Alex and Ivanka. We'll set up a nice, and Kellyanne. Has anybody ever heard of Kellyanne? Huh? She's become... I told Ivanka this morning, you can take Kellyanne and put her right into the heart of the battle to somebody who, the level of hatred back there is so incredible. 7 in the morning, the cameras are on, the lights are on, and she's there, and she'll just take them on. Great courage, really great courage. A lot of people say, please, please. You know, Charlie, it's true. A lot of people say, please, Mr. President, please don't put me in there. She'll say, where do you want me to go, right? It's all words. It's all when you think about it. And here's another great warrior right here. Right, Ivanka? You are a great warrior. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Really is. Great.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. We're fighting for you, and we can't wait for the next 7 years. So thank you so much.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you.